Render just witnessed one of its biggest corrections ever, and a lot of people are calling this the end of Render. But I will show you why this is one of the biggest Render opportunities ever, and also give you my Render price prediction, so you definitely want to watch until the end. So yesterday we witnessed one of the biggest Render corrections we've ever seen, in which Render basically was slowly on the downtrend from like $9 to $8, and then it went really fast. So first it dropped from like $8.48 to like $8.05. It had a little uptrend, but then it wicked down from like $8.25 all the way to $6.16, which is a price we haven't seen in a while. But this is actually something very common, because if we take a look back like 1 month ago, basically on March 5th, we had the same kind of correction in which Render went from like $750 all the way back to $550. And a lot of people need to understand that this kind of wick downwards is needed to actually grab liquidity and liquidate some long, so you get enough fuel for the next breakout. But a lot of people are actually thinking that it's not a correction, that it's a shitcoin pattern, and you should never ever focus on the coin itself without taking a look at the market. Because if we take a look at coin market cap and we scroll down to Render, which is currently like ranked 37, we can see that it's like down 10% on the 24-hour, but a lot of coins are down 10%. We're seeing 17%, 9%, 12%, 16%, 11%, 18%. So it's basically a market correction, and you shouldn't just say, oh, Render is doing really bad. No, it's the entire market. And that's why I'm always saying, don't focus on the price. Even though that's really hard, don't look at the charts the entire day, because the price right now is basically irrelevant. The thing that really matters right now is the rank, because you want to be as high as possible in ranks at the bull run peak. So if we take a look at a historical snapshot of January 14th, so basically exactly 3 months ago, we can see that Render was actually rank 53 back then. So basically Render increased after a big correction 16 ranks. So how is Render doing bad? Like, if Render is doing bad, a lot of coins are doing way worse. So just focus on ranks and try to accumulate. That's the most important, because if your coin is climbing ranks, like last year in like March, we were rank 120. So it's already 85 ranks increasement. So just focus on the rank, do your research about the token, and stop focusing on the price. Because if you do your research, you should know that Render is about to pull one of the biggest rallies ever between May 22nd and June 10th, and most people have no idea why. So that's why I actually made a thread on Twitter saying what's going to happen with Render. So the first big event which is coming up is Nvidia's next earnings event on Wednesday, May 22nd. So the earnings are heavily AI related and have pumped Render and other AI coins in the past. So basically, if people didn't know yet, Nvidia is doing amazing. On the year to date, up 83%, and 83% with a market cap of over $2.2 trillion. So it's basically up $1 trillion in market cap this year. And the other crazy part, if we take a look at the 5-year chart, we can see that it's up 1,880, or an almost 19x. So it basically went from like a 100 billion market cap all the way up to $2.2 trillion in only 5 years, putting it in at rank 3. And it was literally at one point coming closer and closer to the second and the first to take over the largest stock in the world. But of course, it's a little bit behind now, but I really expect a lot of things. And Nvidia earnings are basically the big catalyst every time. So as a reference, the Q4 earnings where in February, and Render went up 23% on the weekly. But Render did actually better than I'm saying, because if we take a look at the weekly, we can see that the event actually happened on like February 20th, but we can see that Render went up 27% going into the event and then 23% the week of the event. And this is something people don't understand. Like, Nvidia is going so hard and the Nvidia earnings are such a big event that a lot of people always expect it to be a sell the news event. But when Nvidia shows the world, like, look, AI is a big deal, GPUs are needed, we're making more profits, more revenue, then the people get more and more FOMO and keep buying Nvidia. And with Nvidia going up, which is heavily AI related, crypto coins like Render and other AI coins will pump as well. So this is one of the biggest upcoming catalysts for sure. The second one will be Apple's WWDC 24 event hosted on June 10th. So basically last year Render surged 200% in the weeks prior to the WWDC 23 event. We can basically see that on the charts as well. So in January we had the first AI rally, and then Render bottomed out at like 96 cents. And then if we take a look at the price range, so we bottomed the 96 cents and go all the way up to the peak of Apple WWDC 23, we can see that there was an increase of actually 200%. The craziest part was that this price surge was mostly based on speculation of Apple getting into AI, because last year everybody thought Apple is going to AI, the Apple Vision Pro is gonna say something about AI, but Apple didn't say anything about AI. But this year Apple will actually dive into AI. We already got this article saying that iOS 18's new AI features everything they know so far. So basically there's going to be so much AI. It's going to be a new Siri that is more intelligent and based on large language model technology, which is basically an AI similar to platforms like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. New AI features for Apple Music, AI integration into Page's keynotes, AI features for Xcode, then an upgraded version of Spotlight Search that powered by generative AI, an AI-powered wellness coaching feature, new AI features for messages. Like, it's so heavily AI-based that I think there will definitely be one of the biggest AI rallies we've ever seen upcoming to the event. Another key thing that people will talk about is the partnership between Render and Apple. So Render's partnership with Apple will be mentioned again by many people like it did last year. This combined with Apple diving into AI will create a lot of FOMO and will trigger a rally that could be even bigger than last year's 200% rally. I myself think that this year's rally will be way bigger because it's actually about AI. So finally, my conclusion in this post was that Render will have a large back-to-back catalyst with Nvidia earnings and Apple WWDC that can activate pumps we've never seen before. So like, if Bitcoin also goes up, it's always important. If Bitcoin crashes to like 60k, 50k, you cannot expect much from Render. But if Bitcoin goes up and it consolidates, there will be a lot of fuel for the Render breakout. We could see a Render price of $30 to $40 before summer, and I'm going to tell you where this price point came from. But before I do this, if you want to buy Render, Bitcoin and over 1,000 crypto coins while getting $30,000 in bonuses and rewards as shown on screen, just go to the top of the description and click on the partner Bybit link or on the partner Bluffint link if you don't want to use KYC. And once you're at the partner page, be sure to see Doc Crypto on top so you can enjoy the lowest fees ever and up to $30,000 $3,000 in rewards, which you definitely don't want to miss out on. So the $30 to $40 price point range is actually being called by a lot of TA guys, and I also like to look at history, because if we take a look at the bottom of the first quarter of 2024 and go all the way up to the top, we can see that was an increase around 281%. So if we do the same thing for the second quarter, in which basically the Nvidia's earnings and Apple WWDC will happen, we can see, like, if we take the bottom that yesterday happened and we take a price point here, we never take the wick down because it's not really relevant. We just need to take the close. So we take the daily here and we go up all the way up to 281%. We can see that we will actually be around the $30 range. So this is basically where my $30 to $40 range comes from. There's a lot of Fibonacci levels which actually go even higher to like 44, maybe even 45, but that's just too much TA for me. But if you guys want to see more TA in the videos, be sure to comment it down below and I will try my best to show you guys some more TA. So the next TA in this video is coming from a well-respected TA guy called Don Mimi, who actually called the bottom. Unfortunately, there was a wick which actually corrected down, but it was so close in calling the actual bottom. He actually showed this bottom like a few weeks ago when we were like only sitting here, and he has a short-term target around $16 to $17, which is basically the Fibonacci level 1.6. But of course this one also has something to do with history, because if we take a look at the price range from the previous wick down and we take the bottom and we go all the way to the top, we can see that there was an increase of like 98%. So once again, if we do this again from like the bottom here, so we go from the bottom and we go up 98%, so we can see with 98% we're just on 16. So even though this is not TA backed, it's just showing that history can repeat itself. While a lot of people have like different TAs with like looking at resistance and Fibonacci levels, sometimes history could also be one of the biggest indicators. Like I've used this history indicator for a while, like calling the bottom in January, in September, and it worked out really well. And of course, if you follow some decent TA guys on Twitter, it could help you as well. But never forget that nobody's giving you financial advice. Always do your own research, because nobody knows how the future is going to look. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Be sure to like if you did. Also click on the screen right now if you want to know when the best moment is to buy Render to maximize crypto profits. Subscribe to my channel for more crypto content, and YouTube. Until the next time.